It's time now for the Pig and the Hen. Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show. It's time now for the Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show. It's time now for the Pig and the Hen. Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show. It's time now for the Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
Boom Chanka, how's it going everybody? It's the Flying Pig here on the Pig and the Hen Show, joined by Henry Hotspur. How's it going, Henry? How you doing, mate?
Mate, I'm just loving it. I mean, Game of Thrones is over, but the theme tune continues through life. You know, if you thought that the fucking series ended shit, then we're continuing that. We're continuing that energy, that passion when it comes to dragons, when it comes to main characters.
It's a great theme tune, to be fair. That's what got me into the show to begin with.
There we go. I am buzzing. I am absolutely buzzing, Pig. Of course I am.
Oh, crikey. You're looking pretty animated over there. Fair play to you. So just to crack off into the show like this, thanks to everybody for joining us, by the way. But Henry, Jose Mourinho, big news week at Spurs. We discussed it last week on the show. I'm guessing you're still happy with him as Spurs manager and what he's done in his first couple of games, yeah? Yeah?
Well, happy. Come on. Come up with a better description of how I feel right now, because happy doesn't even touch the sides, does it?
Well, you know what about that.
Touch the sides.
You know what about that, my friend. What about the word orgasmic? Does that describe it? Excited? Do you know what I mean? What?
Orgasmic. I mean, literally to the extent where, I literally listen to every word that Jose's got to say right now when it comes to press conferences, anything that I can find, and I'll listen to that guy like he's some kind of guru, which he is. He is a special manager, and I've seen it. I've always been one of them football fans. Many of us will be. Until Jose comes to your club. You will not understand the feeling that you get when he walks into your club. And to be honest, you United scumbags did not appreciate Jose enough.
Because we had the twat for 3 years.
You didn't.
3 years of dreary football, mate. That's why. I look forward to your video in about 6 months' time, mate, when you've completely changed your tune.
I think Jose's changed. I think he learned from his mistakes at Manchester United. He even kind of, said so much on a press conference that he's not going to make the same mistakes again. He'll make new mistakes. I mean, the arrogance is gone. The arrogance is gone. He's changed as a man. He's gone through that age-changing period, which a lot of men do actually. I mean, this is like a what Chinese people say about men when they get to sort of 50. And quite often you go through that period of stubbornness. And I think Jose actually went through that these last few years. And he's come out of the game. He's at Tottenham Hotspur right now, and he's revived.
He's been through his male menopause, mate, and now he's feeling normal again.
This is what I mean. This is what I mean. I mean, he, it's something special. This is not knee-jerk. Yes, we won those 2 games, but I can explain to you exactly why I think like I do. It's not about the results. It's about what I've seen him do for these first 2 games at Tottenham Hotspur, and I couldn't be more happy. Could not be more happy.
Mate, I really do think you should just start masturbating that little knob on your knee there, because this is knee-jerk, my friend. Do you know what I mean? 2 games. Two games with him at the wheel, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's just see what happens in a little bit of time. We know as United fans, to be fair to Jose, though, like, he did a good job in his first season, and I don't think in the last season, in the last window that he was at United, he did have the necessary backing and get the players that he wanted. That's fair. And the problems really started from then. Before that, he'd done a reasonable job, finished second in the league, ahead of that Liverpool side. He did a good job, to be fair to Jose Mourinho. But he also lost it at the end there, like he has done at pretty much every other team that he's been at. He never really leaves a club on good terms. He never really leaves them in a great position. So fair enough. It's a short-term fix, I think, for Tottenham Hotspur. I don't think it's going to be a long-term thing. I think it's short-term, 18 months, 3 years, whatever it may be. Same thing as United.
Disagree.
Well, it's early days, mate.
Disagree.
I mean, tactically, yeah, he is a very good manager and he does know how to win games. And with that squad Spurs has got, he'll probably do well. I mean, if we want to talk about the result that happened at the weekend, Spurs obviously beat West Ham 3-2. Good result for them, get the first win under Jose Mourinho, and it was the first away win, I think, since January, right? So that's a big win, even though it's only West Ham.
Massive.
Still a London derby, still against a decent side. Henry, your connection's gone a little bit ropey. Can you go over to somewhere where the connection is absolutely spot on, please, mate? Because this is totally freaking unacceptable, my friend. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, is that better? But you might not be able to see me. So it's
yeah,
either
no,
you can
I
see
think
me
we're
and
going to have
hear
to go
me.
for that, mate. We need to hear you, more importantly, because it actually stops the show. It's cutting the connection out, geese. Anyway, as I was saying, 3-2 at the weekend against West Ham. Good result. You've got the away win. How do you feel about it? I mean, you did succumb a couple of goals at the end there to West Ham, which just goes to show you that Spurs' defensive frailties that they've shown all season long are still there. But I'm not expecting Jose to be able to work wonders in a matter of days, so I'm sure he will do something about it. But what do you think about his first game? And if you want to also talk about the Olympiacos game last night.
Well, okay. Well, let me just start off by talking about Jose. Okay, so Jose at Chelsea. His most recent stint at Chelsea, he won the league. Next season, absolutely having a melter of a moment there, a melter of a season, he gets sacked. Okay, it's not too much longer until you see him at Manchester United. He wins you trophies as well. He's there for a bit, wins a couple of trophies, and then he starts melting. And this simply comes down to. It simply comes down to the fact that he was too arrogant. And he's gone through this age-changing time in his life where he believes he's the best, which, how can you blame him? Every club that he's been to since Porto is absolutely, torn the rule book up, essentially, in terms of what should be achieved. He's winning trophies left, right and centre. Every club he's been to. He's going back to Chelsea. He's winning again. It doesn't quite work out. Goes to Manchester United. He's doing fantastic. He's winning again, but nobody's liking the football. But he's winning again, and the arrogance of the man was his downfall. He got to the stage where he believed that he was so great that everybody should just get on their knees and worship the man, which a lot of people still do. But the fact is, it just wasn't washing anymore. It got to the stage where it was just too much. It was too much Jose and not enough about the club, not enough about the fans, and not enough about everything else that's important in football.
Okay.
I think he's learned a lot. He spent almost a year out of the game. He's been on Sky Sports. He's actually spoken to real people again. He's looked at the mistakes that he's made.
Do you think he just turned into some sort of urchin living in that hotel room then, mate?
He's got past that age-changing period in his life. He's learned from the mistakes that he's made. His arrogance is gone. I'm seeing a humble man there with
Look, he's been saying all the right things,
experience.
Henry. He's been saying all the right things for Spurs, mate. But, I mean, fact is, he is a volatile character, is a controversial character. Sure, he's not going to be controversial and throw his toys out the pram on his first bloody day of signing at the new club. I'm sure he's very happy to be Spurs manager. They are a big club. He's got a good squad there. He could probably do some good things with them. But I'm pretty sure it's just he's on his best behaviour at the moment, mate. If Daniel Levy does something he doesn't like down the road, if a player does something he doesn't like, he's not afraid to have a little bit of a natter in the press. He's not afraid to voice his opinions. And, we saw a lot of conflict and a lot of controversy that happened at United, which probably, got the ball rolling essentially in terms of the problems at United and being sacked with the dressing room, harmony at the club, Paul Pogba, training ground bust-ups, all these sorts of stuff. Luke Shaw criticising him in the public eye, all these types of things that he does. Okay, some of it is justified, but also you have to say that he is not without controversy, mate. He is a controversial character. He's just joined Spurs. He's not going to be controversial at the start. Let's see how time goes on. I know there will be something that he does in the future you're not going to be happy about. Because this is Jose. He's a polarising type of guy. I personally like him. I personally rate him as a footy manager. I just think that at United, he wasn't the right fit, because we yearn for entertaining, attacking football, and he's not the sort of man that will provide you that, unfortunately. What he can do is maybe grind out results. The third season's just a write-off for United. He was absolutely dreary, but the first two he actually did a good job, finishing behind City, in second place in his second season, and getting that Mickey Mouse treble in the first. You can't deny that was a successful period. But he's a short-term fixed manager, Henry. I just want you to understand this. Spurs may pick up some sort of a trophy, maybe even the Mickey Mouse League Cup itself or something, while Jose's in charge. But I don't think he's a long-term fix for the future, my friend. That's what I'm saying. Because I've seen it at United. I've seen what he does. I've seen the selections. I've seen the round peg, square holes tactics that he puts. He's going to start playing Heung-min Son at bloody left back, mate. You just wait and see. He's going to start doing some stupid shit.
Hang on a second. I mean, did you listen to anything I just said?
No.
I can see that. Because what I was trying to say is I see a changed man. I see a changed man.
Yeah. And what I'm responding and saying is I don't see the change. I just see he's just starting at the job. But go on. Tell me about how he's the Messiah and he's the second coming and all this.
Well, all day long. End of the day, our first two games under Jose Mourinho. First one we win 3-2. Second one we win 4-2. That does not sound like Jose Mourinho kind of scorelines there whatsoever. And okay, if they had been a couple of 1-0s, wow, you know. But they haven't been. And I don't think he looks at Tottenham as the sort of side where he can replicate that kind of football mentality. I genuinely think that he's turned a leaf and he's going to start doing things differently. I'll highlight the fact that this game against Olympiacos, within the last 24 hours that we won 4-2. We were losing 2-0. I mean, he takes off Eric Dyer.
Bold move, bold move.
In the 20th something minute, and brings on Christian Eriksen. Okay,
changed the game.
That is not the kind of substitution that some kind of defensive 1-0 winning manager does. Okay, ideally he wouldn't have wanted to concede those goals. So,
but he had to make the change in that scenario. Do you know what I mean? He actually set the team up. He actually set the team up wrongly by selecting Dyer and having them play. I didn't watch the game, but however they were playing to go 2-0 down early on. It's kind of like Solskjaer did with Sheffield United at the weekend. Set the team up completely wrong, and then you have to make some really big changes to actually then change the way you're playing and influence the game positively, because you know what you've done is wrong. I appreciate what Jose's done there, but let's not get away from the fact that he set the team up wrongly there. I mean, I don't think Eric Dyer is actually good enough to be near the Spurs team. When you've got that level of players in the squad that you've got, Dyer, for me, doesn't make it in there. So I think that's a questionable decision. He's seen the questionable decision. He's brought Eriksen on for him. He's influenced the game positively. So he's bright enough to know what's gone wrong. I respect that. Just like Solskjaer did, taking Phil Jones off at half-time against Sheffield United and changing the formation. That was key. But both of those managers in both of those games set the team up completely wrongly, and that is what's caused the problem. So he's had to then go and adjust, then change the tactics, the personnel, to then try and get back into the game. So I'm not too impressed with that, to be fair, mate.
Well, you're going to say that because, obviously you miss Jose.
Oh, yeah, I really miss him, mate. Honest, I really miss the Portuguese Mr. Bean around the gaff. Do you know what? I definitely don't, mate. Like, fair enough. He's a great manager. His CV's almost second to none. But he's I'm sorry, he's too much of a negative Nelly in terms of the style of football. Certainly at United, the way we were playing. I don't know how he's going to play with Spurs. Like you say, they attacked West Ham. They were 3-0 up before they conceded the 2 late goals. So they were attacking. They were getting at them. And Olympiacos, they scored 4 goals in the end. So fair enough. But they sort of had to do that in that particular game. But I know that the way Jose works, especially going in against some of the big teams, I think he will set you up very defensively, very negatively. And sometimes you're just going to be there to grind out draws and grind out results and things like that. And it's kind of frustrating. You will win games, you will progress in cups and things like that. So that is a massive plus. But in terms of entertainment, in terms of attacking football, I don't expect to see all that much of an improvement. I think Poch would have had him playing more.
Completely disagree.
Football,
I completely disagree. I mean, honestly, Pete, I'm not just saying this to cause controversy on the Pig and the Hen show so that we can have different views. Sure. I mean, this is all come off the cuff.
I can understand why you would have that view. You're just over the moon about Jose at the moment,
No, but he's not playing like that, and I don't see.
It's been 2 games. How much can you influence the team in 2 games?
What it is Tottenham, at the moment, with the players that we have, cannot set up in the traditional Jose format because we leak goals. We have been leaking goals left, right, and centre. I can barely remember the last run of clean sheets we had, let alone a clean sheet in itself. So Jose can't just go in and do his.
He's got the defenders to do it. To be fair, though, he has.
Park the bus.
Yeah, he will.
You say that, but the mentality is not there. Pochettino did not play like that at all. Pochettino at Tottenham Hotspur, 5.5 years worth of management there. Those players have been drilled to play in a certain way under Maurizio. Okay, and the way that Jose's come in and he's praised Pochettino, and he said that I'm not going to just come in and start changing the way players are playing, because end of the day, this is still Pochettino's side. He's pretty much said as much. And I think Jose understands that. He understands the fact that actually how things were working under Poch, when we were doing great under Pochettino, it was brilliant. And Jose's thinking, well, actually, instead of going in and doing my classic, I'm going to be Jose Mourinho and do things in my own way. He's kind of thinking, well, do you know what? I'm going to go in and I'm going to work on the good things that Poch was doing and sort out the bad things. And that is exactly what I've seen over these last couple of games. And you'd hate to admit that. But I've got evidence. I've got evidence for you, Pig. Got evidence for you right now. Okay? The first game, the way we set up, 4-2-3-1. We got Harry Kane up front. He's completely supported there by
classic
Son,
Jose Mourinho tactic.
by Moura, by Dele Alli straight in there. So we got 4 fantastic attacking players. You've got Eric Dyer and you've got Harry Winks there as holding players.
But do you not think that result in that game and the way that they started that game is more down to the fact that the players are trying to impress the new manager? Poch has gone, and they actually are all quality players and a good set of players. Jose had 2 days to do, I think, one training session or whatever to do stuff with the squad before the West Ham game. So in terms of what he's actually done, I mean, it's all just motivation that he's probably given the players. It's all just the fact that they're all trying to impress.
Yes, but there's also team selection there.
Yeah, but he's not going to have much time to work wonders there, is he? And the Spurs players are just better than West Ham's players. And also West Ham and Pellegrini, they just have an absolute double day mess themselves.
They are having mess. They were awful. I know. They basically just laid down and said "fuck us," basically. But and that's what happened. That's what happened. But the fact that we started Moura with Kane, I mean, you didn't see that from Poch, hardly ever. Okay, it was the exact right.
I remember a spell last season though where Moura was on fire and he was scoring loads of goals for you. So was that what? Was that off the bench or what? Because I'm pretty sure he was playing him a lot last year in an advanced 3, no?
Well, most of the time off the bench or when Kane's injured. But, Poch was never a fan of having Moura and Kane as a starting 11, okay? So Jose comes in, he does that straight away. Ali starts. I mean, yes, Ali's been starting here and there, but I think under Mourinho, you're going to see Ali. Ali's back suddenly. Ali's back. I understand what you're saying.
He does look revitalised, yeah. Some of the other players, Serge Aurier looks revitalised. He got the winner.
Sure.
Some of the players are definitely enjoying this change in managerialship, to be fair.
I mean, that's always going to happen. And of course, a manager of Jose's pedigree is going to have an effect on the players' mentality. Of course it is. So you have to put a lot of the performance down to that alone, regardless of what Jose's actually done in terms of on the training ground or in terms of tactical nous. But all I can say as a fan, in terms of starting lineup for that game against West Ham, absolutely spot on. We didn't win it 3-0. We didn't keep the clean sheet. We let in a couple of goals late on because we looked tired as fuck, and we have been tired, and that's how we've looked for a long time, and Jose's even highlighted that in press conferences. He understands the fact that, in fairness, I mean, there's a lot of fatigue there, and I can see that. I can see that for sure.
No, I think that's fair to say, to be fair. I think there is a lot of fatigue there, especially after the international break. And that second half against West Ham, yeah, I do put that down to the tired legs. I think before that, the first half, that's the best Spurs have looked for a very, very long time. Dele Alli, it's the best he's looked for a long time. Hazard, Kane's just back to his best overnight, it seems, banging in the goals. Moura, he's definitely done well over his first couple of games as manager, but that's all it really is. I'm expecting there to be some tough times. I'm expecting there to be some negative football. I know he's got the players there to attack. He's also got the players there to defend, and I do know Jose Mourinho and the way he plays his football. And at United, there was never really that much intent going forward or emphasis on attack. We'll see what he does at Spurs. He's probably got the players to do it. If you've got one of the best strikers in the world like Harry Kane, if you've got Son Heung-min, if you've got players like Lucas Moura, maybe he knows that he can attack and cut teams open with that. So you will see that. And let's not forget here that he's not always been a defensive style manager. When it's called for, he does it. Like, I remember when he went to Real Madrid and he won the league eventually with the highest points tally, I think, ever at the time. Or, I could be wrong there, but very, very high. And also the highest amount of goals scored, I think, of any La Liga season. So that goes to show you, of course, you've got Ronaldo and all those guys, but goes to show you that at times, if he's got the players, if he's got the tools, he's not just going to set up and play defensively if he thinks he can get the better of the opposition in an offensive way. He's a very tactically astute manager, so when it calls for it, he will set him up defensively. I don't know. I just hope that he's a bit past it. What I will say is he looks so much younger overnight, by the way. He looks so much healthier. Like this little breakaway, I think the stress of the Manchester United job was really getting to him. You're seeing it with Ollie as well. Like they're just aging overnight. Mourinho, a few months back, or when he was United manager, looked like a bloody wreck of a man. He looked like a shell of a man. He looked like he was living on the bloody streets or something. But now he looks revitalised. He looks stylish. He looks happy. So whatever he's been doing has certainly, has certainly done him some good. I suppose getting paid like a 15 million golden handshake from United at the end of it probably has something to do with that.
I mean, I'll tell you what I put it down to. I'm not the biggest fan of mainstream sports media or media in general, as you know. But I think his stint at Sky Sports has done him a world.
It's because they steal from us. That's right, Henry. Like we were talking about last week.
Okay, right, sure. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But I think being, in that Sky Sports vicinity, and he gets so much love. Everybody loves Jose at Sky Sports. Who can say he doesn't know what he's talking about? Nobody says that, do they? Do you know what I mean? Like he was their most interesting pundit to listen to over this last year or so.
I'll go with that. Yeah,
okay?
I think he was very
He'll be a big miss, in that setup. And I think he's learned a lot, just from taking in other people's opinions, just from actually acknowledging, just taking a step back from the game, which is the longest period of not being a manager that he's had for in the last 20 years.
Do you know what it really was though, Hen? The reason that he wanted to get back into Spurs management is because he just couldn't. He was getting bullied and he was really frightened of Graham Souness and Roy Keane, mate. So that's the only reason he's like, I've got to go back and manage a football club because these guys are freaking me out every single week.
You think so?
I reckon so. Yeah, I reckon he was their little bitch at the studio, mate.
Well, I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure about that.
Come on,
possibly.
Souness, Kino, and Mourinho in a prison. Who's the bitch?
No, Mourinho's never the bitch.
Mourinho's never the bitch. No, we were talking about him last week like he was the
but...
godfather, to be fair. Do you know what I mean? He's big time.
Well, this is what I mean. Look at Roy Keane's managerial career. Okay, sort of done okay with Ireland, did he?
No, he's
no.
Not done fantastic.
Arguable. When's he ever done good anywhere?
Though, didn't he?
Sunderland, Ipswich. He's an absolute mug when it comes to management, Roy Keane. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't say that to his face, obviously.
No.
But, in the safety of me being,
He's very old school Roy Keane.
A continent away.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Roy Keane. You're a shit manager.
Oh, mate, what? Look at behind you. Roy's standing right behind you, mate.
Well, there we go. But anyway, let's wrap up Jose. Just wanted to say this game against Olympiacos, we go down 2-0. Okay, yes, you're right. I think you said earlier in the show that he probably set up wrong. He started with the same team again. We're talking about fatigue. Surely Jose should have known, well, yeah, these players are tired. You need to.
Do you think
you
Eric
need to be
Dyer is
changing that
actually
team
good
up a
enough to
little
be in
bit.
that starting 11 either when you've got all the other fruits in the, fruits of the loins in the squad, the depth there? Do you think Eric Dyer's the man? I mean, Jose obviously rates him, but I just don't see it myself. I think he's good. I don't think he's great.
This is Jose mind. This is early days Jose mind games. What it is Jose knows that Eric Dyer is probably not his strongest player in that position. Having said that, Eric Dyer hasn't featured for a long time. What Jose's thinking is, do you know what? These first couple of games, I'll just start Eric Dyer. In my heart, I might not even think that he is the solution or the best player here. But I'm going to start him. It's going to make players like Sissoko, players like Ndombele think what's going on here, and it creates competition. It's almost like, okay, this is the best analogy. I'm going to come out with a brilliant analogy right now. Okay. I'm in my younger days. Maybe I'm a bit more handsome than I am right now, and I'm single. Okay, I walk into a club, or I'm at a party with friends. Let's say you got some lovely ladies there. Do I go for the one that I want to get involved with this evening? Probably that's what you do. But sometimes actually you think, well, this one here, she's okay, and everyone else is going to think, what's he doing with her? And it's going to get the other girls, they're going to get a bit wet, and that's exactly what Jose's done here. I'm not trying to make it a disgusting analogy. I won't go any further.
I was disappointed with the analogy at the end.
You shouldn't be disappointed, because hopefully you get exactly what I'm trying to say.
It was more of an anal lurgy than an analogy, mate.
You're making the rest of the team, you're making the rest of the players there think, what's he doing? Why is he befriending, the ugly bitch right there?
Oh, Henry Hotspur.
I could perform better.
Yeah.
And suddenly you've got performances left, right, and centre on that evening.
Each
right
and every
there.
one of you. That means all of you. Sorry, carry on, Hen.
Well, I finished what I was trying to say. I hope you understand.
I sort of understand what you're saying, but I mean, I don't know about that one, mate, personally. Do you know what I mean? Personally, I see like Jose Mourinho like a disgraced milkman who's been sacked by, I don't know, Dairy Crest.
Are you serious?
Just let me finish my analogy here. He's been sacked by Dairy Crest, right? So what does he do? He has to relocate town because nobody's going to give him a job delivering milk around there because he's been disgraced, right? So he has to go to a different town. He gets a job for, I don't know, frickin' Farmer Pete's milk delivery service. And you know what? He has a good couple of days because he's trying to impress. At the start, he's really putting the hours in, putting the effort in like a good old job's worth that he is, right? But then after a couple of weeks, the rot starts to set in. He's like, this isn't as good as Dairy Crest, to be fair. This isn't as good an employer as Dairy Crest. I'm not feeling this. And do you know what? He starts to do a half-assed job, mate. He starts not washing out the bottles properly. He starts being a little bit tardy. Do you know what I mean? He starts breaking a few bottles here and there, mate, causing a little bit of controversy, spending a bit of unnecessary money behind the scenes. Basically, what I'm saying is Jose Mourinho is a substandard milkman, mate.
Are you serious? You're comparing the manager that has won more trophies with different clubs than any other manager in the last 2 decades as a.
Hey, and do you know what? Once upon a time,
are you serious?
Once upon a time, he was the best delivery. He was the best milk delivery driver in all the town, mate. He delivered the most. He was the politest. He was the happiest. He had the best rapport with the customers. But now, he's a shell of a man, mate. He's a milk delivering dinosaur, mate.
I didn't realise how bitter you were about Jose. Honestly, you missed that man. You talk about him like an ex-girlfriend that you still haven't got over.
No,
literally.
How could you ever get over Mourinho, mate? How could you ever get over Mourinho? We're still dealing with the stench of the man. We're still dealing with the terrible signings on huge money. Alexis Sanchez, thanks for that, Jose. Good acquisition there, pal. Do you know what I mean? Lukaku. Oh, cheers for that one, Jose.
Really
thank you, Jose Mourinho, for the fucking legacy that you have left at Manchester United.
It's easy for everybody to blame Jose Mourinho, but was it really all him? Was it really all him?
He's not only
or should you actually be looking at people like Woodward?
Yeah, sure, Woodward's had a mare there, but he's told Woodward, look, I want to be able to spend money. I want you to get these players in and pay what you can to get them in because I need them. And players like Sanchez and Lukaku, they're big money players on big money. the likes of which Jose can only really get. I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is capable of signing such players right now. I don't think Woodward would allow that sort of
No, but
spend.
no wonder he wanted them, because United already looked like a shower of shit at the time.
Well, to be
So,
fair, if we were a shower of shit, I'll admit that we have been for the last few years. But since Jose came in, it turned into a torrent of shit, my friend. So he didn't do anything that great.
Sorry, forgive me if I'm wrong, but he gave you second in the league. Okay, he did not win it.
It's as good as
it
might as well be seventh to me, mate.
He gave you the League Cup and he gave you the Europa League. And all you've got to say is he's a washed up milkman.
But the amount of money that he spent, mate, like hundreds of millions we're talking here on players. It's not like Ollie. It's not like Pochettino. Like, I give Pochettino more credit for the work he's done on a shoestring budget over the last 5 years. Mourinho has spent big, hundreds of millions while he was United manager. You do realise that. He had all the resources in the world and he couldn't make it work. I'm not going to praise him overly, mate. I think he did a good job in his first season in charge, and even his second season, even though the football was truly negative and awful, he got us to second in the league. Fair play, but it wasn't fun. It wasn't a good season. It wasn't entertaining. It was dreary. And to be fair, it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning, and it doesn't matter if you lose by an inch or a mile. Losing is losing. The fact is, we still lost to that City side that season. So, okay, it was better, but it wasn't great. And after that, it was just a downhill spiral. Jose Mourinho is that man for you, Henry. He will come in. He's a short-term fix, but then once the wound is healing up, he rips that freaking band-aid off, and you start gushing all over the place again, mate.
The problem is, I'll tell you what the problem is, okay? So every club he goes to, he is the next big thing for that club every single time. You get that feel-good factor. Whether it was Porto, whether it was Chelsea, Inter, Real Madrid, he's basically the next big thing right there. And the players play for him, he makes some signings, and he wins trophies, okay? At Manchester United, there's the big, massive, humongous shadow on the corrugated metal that I'm stood in front of. And if I was Jose right now, you'd see a big shadow going all the way up, and it would be a big shadow of no other than Sir Alex Ferguson. Okay? And I think that was a big deal. I think that made the
difficult
difference.
For anyone,
kind of like United, you had some shit times with Moyes, Van Gaal, Van Gaal, however you pronounce it, and then Jose comes in. But it's, everybody's saying, okay, are we going to get back to the old United way? Are we going to start being the amazing United? But the competition is got better. Jose is not Sir Alex Ferguson. But it just didn't work. Simple as that. But you can't blame Jose. You cannot blame him for it.
Well, you can blame him for his part in it. Do you know what I mean? I think the biggest culprits of the problems at the club are indeed Woodward and the owners. I truly believe that. But I think Jose played his part in it. He was playing players out of position a lot of the time. He was playing negatively, setting up negatively against teams we should be trying to get at and attack. So he played his part in his downfall, to be fair. He wasn't an innocent party in all of this. He had a bloody double day, mate. But I just want to say good luck to you. I think you are going to enjoy ups and downs with Jose. Henry, if you can still hear me, mate, get outside, my friend. Your connection has gone absolutely gashtastic again, my friend. Like, if you can hear me, I can't hear you. I can't see you. I'm trying to do a live show here, mate. So, if you could pop outside, that would be absolutely fantastic. And I'll just keep talking until the connection reestablishes here, my friend. But yeah, I think Jose's... He's had a decent start at Spurs. He'll continue to do pretty well, I think, in the short term. But in terms of the long-term fix, I just don't really see him being the answer to their questions, so to speak. So that's what I think's going on. Give me one moment. I'm just going to try and reconnect with Henry, as it doesn't seem to be reconnecting. Don't go anywhere. There'll just be a slight lull for
I'm back in the dark.
Henry Hotspur.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. No, you're going to have to stay out in the darkness, mate, because the connection's too poor there. To be fair, lads and lasses, thank you to everybody for joining us today. It's not going to be too much of a long one today. I've got to get on and do some stuff, so we're going to have to keep it reasonably short. But just wanted to get on here with Hotspur and discuss some of the breaking news articles, not even breaking news, but just some of the major stuff that's been going on around the footballing world. Sorry for that little lull in action there, but we are back now. Yeah, so that pretty much covers Mourinho and Spurs and all that. I mean, obviously, as a United, this is a United channel. I think we should discuss it because it's about Jose and there is implications. You know, Poch and Solskjaer. I don't really want to get into any of that this week, but yeah, I mean, what I just do want to touch on Manchester United's fixture tomorrow night. Look, I know Spurs are through to the last 16 of the Champions League here,
Woo!
so Jose's coming. You what?
Woo!
Sorry, mate. Did you just woo? Did you?
I did.
Okay. I thought you went
last
what?
16
Anyway,
of the Champions League. Jose Mourinho, he's a winner. You know, I'm not being funny. Just let's end it on this, okay? I see us breaking back into the top 4 this season, and I see us having a serious Champions League run all day long.
No chance. Maybe next year, not this year. No chance. Not
Fuck
with Jose.
you.
Right back at you, my friend. But look, anyway, fair enough. Jose Mourinho, yeah, Tottenham, nice one. Anyway, let's get on to the next topic that I just want to briefly discuss. I know you won't want to discuss it. It's not really that interesting, but it's kind of interesting.
What, Manchester United and Solskjaer? Yeah, boring as shite.
Oh, dear. Well, United are playing Astana tomorrow night in Kazakhstan.
Wow.
We're already qualified in the Europa League, right? But what's interesting is the squad that we've taken. So I think we've only got 4 senior team players actually going. So in terms of just like playing the youngsters, it's going to be an absolute field day out there. The only four senior players we've got in the squad are Grant, Twanzebe, Shaw and Lingard. We've got 14 players going who are under 20 years of age. It's freaking awesome, man. So tomorrow's just going to be like a display of youth. Maybe some people are going to be able to stand up and show themselves to be a quality player in that game, you know, grasp an opportunity, maybe be a big game player. It's a great opportunity for some of these unknown lads.
Well, Greenwood
we're not
be
talking
starting.
about the young. Well, this is the thing. I mean, I imagine those 4 players will be starting, like Shaw, Twanzebe, Lingard, but certainly players like Angel Gomez, like Tahith Chong, Mason Greenwood will all be starting. Now, in terms of the other players, I mean, there's a lot of players that are in the squad that I don't even really know much about because they're just young, under-18 squad players and stuff like that. Nicky Butt's actually gone along, who's sort of in charge of youth development, just to be that bridge of a gap, if you like. So it's quite interesting what we're doing with that game. Rightfully so, I guess. Rest the players, but also gives an opportunity to some youngsters. I just hope we're going to see maybe a bit of a breakout talent in that game, and not just one of the usuals like Greenwood or Gomez or some of the players we've seen before, but some of the other lads that we don't know anything about. That would be fantastic. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about that because I think it is interesting. Only 4 first team players going in the squad tomorrow.
It's
so
because it doesn't matter about the result, is that right?
Yeah,
but we're going to have that against Bayern Munich because we're in the Champions League, like the proper competition when it comes to European competition.
It's different though. It's different because you have to, even though you are through to the last 16, surely Jose can't just get another 7-2 drubbing. He's got to put out a half decent side, do you know what I mean? And try and, I know it wasn't Jose who had that initial drubbing, but for Spurs fans to try and get a little bit of redemption, I think that's a game you don't want to just put a whole bunch of kids out in. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it'll be interesting to see. I'm so happy that we made the last 16. Jose Mourinho. I'm just going to keep talking about it, mate. I'm fucking loving it.
So this whole thing's down to Jose, is it? Because he won 1 game against Olympiacos. Like, let's give Pochettino a bit of credit here for qualifying for the last 16, eh? Because I don't think his Champions League campaign, apart from the 7-2 drubbing, has really been that much of a problem. Obviously not, because Jose
That's true. Yeah,
has
we've been
qualified
fine.
the squad for Spurs with a game to hand. So yeah.
We've been absolutely fine in the Champions League. It's not been an issue, but the domestic league has
It would be so Jose Mourinho, though, Henry. It'd be so Jose just to come in right now and win the Champions League with Spurs, wouldn't it?
This is what I mean. You know it. This is why you are so pent about it. P-E-N-T.
It would be very Jose.
I can see it. You are pent right now about the whole... Is that a word? That is a word, isn't it? That sums...
Well, you have to put the word
up, your
up
face
after
right
it.
now.
Pent up.
Flying Pent United.
Anyway, enjoy it while it lasts is all I'm saying. I know the man. I know that a lot of the clubs that he ends at, Real Madrid, Chelsea, twice, and Man United, he ends in tears, my friend. So I'm just looking forward to that day when I can see you crying again about
tears
Spurs.
Of joy when they start lifting trophies, which Tottenham Hotspur desperately need.
Desperately need. That's the thing. You can't really talk about trophies if you're a Spurs fan. Let's see. That's why they've brought Jose in.
Of course,
that's why they got rid of a perfectly good manager in Pochettino, because he doesn't, have that record or necessarily that winning mentality, whereas Jose does. So that's the gamble by Daniel Levy, and Tottenham, is just to try and give the opportunity to someone who is a winner, and maybe he can pick up some trophies.
Yeah, but Poch is
Makes
great.
sense.
Poch is great at foreplay. This is what it comes down to. He is the best when it comes to just warming things up, getting that bed ready.
And that turkey
and then,
in the oven.
Then you bring in the big guns, and Jose comes in. It's the perfect time for Jose at Tottenham Hotspur. You just wait and see. I'm so excited and so happy right now. I won't talk about it anymore. I promise.
Fair play, mate. Fair play. Well, listen, I just hope in regards to Solskjaer and United, we've not really touched upon it, but we did draw with Sheffield United 3-3 at the weekend, and it was a pitiful performance for United for the first 45 minutes. Solskjaer got it completely wrong, setting the team up, and he's changed it up at half time. Phil Calamity Jones was taken off, and that was actually his first start all season, and it'll probably be his last. And then we were much better in the second half. The annoying thing is we were actually winning that game 3-2, and then we let them score at the end of the game there. So poor result in the end, but also not terrible, because we were 2-0 down and we did look awful. So Solskjaer, like Jose in the Olympiacos game, saw the problems, made the changes, and it was much better after that. But yeah, I mean, he's got to start learning from his mistakes. That's the thing. Talking about Jose and learning from mistakes and not applying the same mistakes at Spurs that he did at United. Solskjaer's got to learn from his mistakes. He's got to realise, Brandon Williams, even though he's 19, is a great left-back and should be the first left-back.
I like Williams, I do.
I know, but Luke Shaw's coming back into it. I've just got a feeling, because of the wages that he's on as well and stuff like this, I think he's going to maybe push him out the side. But I hope not. I hope Brandon Williams is given the opportunity, because he truly deserves it. I think he's got to realise, that Pereira and Fred in the centre of the park is just not a strong enough duo to cope with any sort of midfield. We're totally overpowered in that midfield by Sheffield United in that first half. So he's got to realise that. He's got to make the necessary changes. Come on, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I really want him to be a success. He's got to start learning from the mistakes, though. That's the thing. We can't be drawing with teams like Sheffield United, unfortunately.
Well, for me, the best players at Manchester United this season have been your youth. And you're quite right. You're quite right to highlight the fact that you want to see more of Williams. You want to see Mason Greenwood. You know what I mean? He pops up.
Absolutely, yeah.
And he scores a goal. But what opportunities has he had?
Barely any.
Few and far between. And it's almost disgusting. I mean, when it comes to the fantasy football, there's a lot of people that are sticking Greenwood in, thinking that he would have had more of a chance. He would have popped up with a few goals, like as just a let's say a cheap option on fantasy football. Let's have him in my team, because he might pop up with a few goals, but he just has not had the opportunities.
You're absolutely right. I am a little bit disappointed with Solskjaer for that, but that's a great player you bring up there as another point, because in terms of clinicality, in terms of natural ability, he seems to have the most natural ability out of any of the finishers that we've got. So it's like he comes on, got 2 minutes on the pitch, he gets an opportunity, he bangs it away. He's done that multiple times. The amount of shots he's had, the amount of goals he's scored, the amount of game time he's had, he's probably our best striker in terms of finishing percentage. I mean, I don't know, I'm just freestyling here, but
in terms of time that he's had,
exactly,
goals converted to minutes on the pitch,
So I truly hope that Solskjaer does that, mate. So yeah, great point. We've got a lot to learn. We've got a great young set of players here. We can grow, but Solskjaer's got to do the right things. He's got to set us up properly, and we do have to get results as well. That is the thing. You can't just build for the future and finish 11th for the league.
Do you want Pochettino at Manchester United? I've got to ask you, because a lot of people probably want to ask you that.
No, I personally don't. I know a lot of people do, and even after Spurs made the decision and got rid of him, straight away people were like, look, get rid of Solskjaer and get Poch in, he's a much better manager. But, I mean, he had a problem at Spurs, didn't he? They didn't win an away game since January. They were down there at, 14th in the league with a great squad of players. Something's wrong. Managerially, he's had all sorts of problems at Spurs in the last 6 months, even longer than that. So I don't know. I mean, if you can have a nightmare with such a great squad, how are you going to come into a struggling United side which doesn't have as good a squad, doesn't have as experienced the senior players, and expect him to just be the answer? Maybe he could be, but chances are, it's just swapping one one struggling situation for another, like we have done with all our managers. Don't really think that's the root cause of the problem at United, the manager. As stupid as that sounds, there's other problems at the club that we all know about. But no, to answer your question, I wouldn't now. What I would say, though, Henry, is he does need to be respected. What he did at Southampton, grow in a squad, really good squad that they had there when he was there. Some great players came through. Giving opportunities to players that are now featuring for Liverpool in that squad and stuff like that. So he deserves a lot of credit. And also at Spurs, what he's done over the last 5 years, turning them into an actually good squad. And a good team is very good. It's ended badly for him, but he deserves a bit of respect. And if Solskjaer was sacked, say, come the end of the season, I hope he gets to the end of the season regardless, I really do. But say he does get sacked, Pochettino would definitely be one of the candidates that United would have to look at and consider for the job because of how he develops and builds squads and his evidence of doing that in the Premier League. So I'm not ruling that out, I'm just saying not right now.
So I agree with everything you just said. If you get to the end of the season, let's say you finish 9th, he doesn't quite get to the 8th that I've been touting for Solskjaer. He finishes 9th. He needs to be sacked if he finishes 9th for Manchester United. And then would you take Poch?
No, I'm not getting into this debate again, Henry. It depends. There's so many varying factors. Okay, it's not just about the position. There's varying factors. We'll judge at the end of the season.
It is about the position. If you finish 9th under Solskjaer, it doesn't matter how great you look. 9th is not good enough for Manchester United. I'm with you,
but I truly don't think. Let's cross that bridge when we get to it. I don't think we're going to finish as low as that, man. And look, you're giving it the big one about Jose and Spurs and everything. You're on the same points as us in the league, mate. 17 points. You're on the same points. Like, let's not get carried away here. A lot of the season's left. A lot can happen. United can improve our league possession in a very short space of time if we just get the right couple of results. And Solskjaer's got to set the team up to do that. But if we do that, then happy days. Some of the pressure's relieved and we'll be looking likely to finish in the top 6 again. If we lose the next couple, we're screwed.
It's funny how we're on the same point still. I mean, we've gone through the debacle of losing our manager and getting Jose Mourinho in, and we're still on the same points. You know what I mean? What a crazy season it is. Loving that mid-table.
It has been a crazy season, man. Yeah, I wonder when it's going to be and which team it is that just starts to run away from the other one.
It's going to be us. It's going to be us and Jose, isn't it? Of course it is.
I don't know. I think you're in for a rude awakening, my friend. I think you're in for a rude awakening very soon when there's some Drury football and you're getting drubbed by a team.
Not anytime soon. Jose goes in and does it works wonders. Come back to me like 2021. Do you know what I mean?
Fair play. I've just seen the time, Hen, so we're going to have to usher this show on a little bit. So let's get on to the next segment of the show quickly. Apologies for the lack of calls and stuff this week. We're just doing a little bit of a different show today. I don't have much time. Obviously, you guys know what I've got going on at the moment, so we're not going to touch on that anymore. But just to fit this in, and it's just easier to do it like this and not do it live and stuff at the moment. But yeah. Thank you for joining me, everybody, and thank you, Henry, for doing the show with me. Pig in the Hen Show. You can find this podcast on soundcloud.com. You can find it on your podcast app, so go over there and subscribe. And also, if you're new to this YouTube channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And thanks to all the Pig in the Hen viewers. We need to come up with a nickname for the Pig in the Hen viewers, mate. What will that be?
I'll come up with it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because I obviously call my own followers the Bacon Brigade, but we need a committed, a committed name.
Piglets. I've read in the comments that the people refer to themselves as piglets.
Right. Okay. Yeah, but we need something like cocks as well. You know what I mean? For you.
No, fuck off. No, I mean piglets and eggs. Should we go or chicks?
All right, we'll move on from this abomination. Right, anyway, Henry, let's get on to the melter of the moment. Here's the theme tune.
Pig and Hen's melter of the moment. The Pig and the Hen's melter of the moment. What's a melter?
I've just realised I don't actually have a melter of the moment this week, Henry, so let's go over to you first and give me a minute to think.
I do have a melter at the moment. I'm getting a bit of wind noise. I'm trying to avoid the wind at the same time. I don't want to lose connection at the same time. It's ideally, if you can see me, it's better. So, I mean, right now, can you hear me, Pig? Is that okay?
We can see you and hear you absolutely spot on at the moment. I'll let you know if that changes. That flame looked really blue, mate. Was that a blue flamed lighter you got there? Or is it just showing up like that on the... Okay, then.
Well,
how many
whatever it
cigarettes
is.
have you smoked in this show, by the way, Hen?
Quite a lot, mate. I don't know, mate. I'm just,
You've just been chain smoking the whole video.
I am
You're making me need one.
But listen to me. This person cannot get away from being the melter of the moment. We mentioned this person last week, and he's not getting away. He's got to be the melter of the moment. Of course, it is Your Royal Highness Prince Andrew. Of course, it is. And you have not, even to this day, you still have not watched the interview.
Mate, I've not watched it. I meant to after last week, after you talked about it, but I just haven't watched that interview yet, so I don't know what's going on. But he sounds like an absolute weirdo to me, yeah.
If you watched that interview, he would be your melter of the year, let alone moment.
Really?
I'm telling you right now.
So basically what you're telling me is that Epstein Island and all that stuff, he's got him over to that island and he's allegedly had sexual relations with... What, young girls? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, yes. But I mean,
that's pretty messed up,
big deal.
And that's Prince Andrew, yeah?
Bottom line, Prince Andrew, right? He has been pictured with someone that was a young girl at the time, 17 years old. Okay, we're not talking children here, but we're still talking, teenage girls that are being taken advantage of. Prince Andrew was pictured with his hand around her bare waist, okay? And on this interview, he kind of half denies the fact. He kind of says, I don't recollect that. I don't think it's me. No, he even says nobody can prove that that's a real picture. But I'm kind of listening to this thinking, yeah, but at the same time, no one's proven that it's not a real picture, are they? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't come out with that kind of bullshit.
That's bullshit, isn't it?
You know what I
What
mean?
the fuck? Yeah.
It's I don't want to go into it too much. This is a football show, but it's like...
no, fair enough. He sounds like he's an absolute melter, mate. I'll have to... what was that you were talking about last week? Like he doesn't sweat or something? What were we talking about then?
Well, no. I mean, his excuse, basically, he's been like... okay, so the girls that have accused him of whatever have said that he was sweated profusely at certain times. Okay?
Right.
In whatever's happened. And his argument against that is like, after the Falklands War, he doesn't sweat. That's what he said.
What a tit. What a tit.
Because
an absolute tit.
Because of shock during the war, it's like, I don't sweat anymore. His
God.
alibi was the fact that he remembers all those years ago that on that supposed day when he was supposed to be with that girl, he was actually down Pizza Express.
Mate, this guy sounds like an absolute tit.
I don't know. I guess
it's another Bill Clinton situation, isn't it?
It is. It's ridiculous. I mean, to be fair, it's still the melter of the moment because, since last week, he's now been stripped of, his charity duties. His wage has been cut by the Queen directly in terms of, the earnings that he makes from whatever he does. Basically, he's just, he is head in the sand. He might as well do the new Gareth Southgate Pizza Hut, or he might as well do a Pizza Express advert with a bag on his head. Literally.
Nice one, mate. Quality. I love it. That's a good one. Fair play. Melter at the moment, guys. I'm struggling to think of one here. I mean, what I would like to say is Watford are bottom of the table, right? Watford are bottom of the table, okay? Now, last year...
You're going to pick on Flores, Sanchez Flores.
I'm picking on that Flores prick, mate. Last year, this team was flying, right? They're bottom of the league. Just a short while ago, they were a good footballing side, mate. They've got decent players there. They're definitely underachieving. Come on. He's having a melt job, mate. Melter of the moment, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but compared to Prince Andrew, mate. You know what I mean? Flores got nothing to do with Epstein. He's all right. Do you know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Did you know that's his second spell at Watford? I remember him. I actually remember him more vividly than a lot of Watford managers. He done well with Watford back in the day. They've obviously got him back in. It's not working out. It's tricky for him. Quite possibly by the next time we're doing a Pig in the Hen show, he could be gone. He's probably the favourite for the sack race right now. But
I'd say he's melting. Pellegrini's melting as well. West Ham are just above the relegation zone. They spent a bit. They got an okay squad. I mean, they're having a melt job as well. He could equally be my melter of the moment. Plus Spurs beat them, which just goes to show you how shite they really are. So, West Ham, Pellegrini, possible melter of the moment. I want to just talk about, do you know the guy who, Epstein obviously didn't kill himself, right? That's what everyone says.
Well, of course not.
Right, okay, he was basically suicided or whatever. That's what the story is. So just imagine that person who actually did kill Epstein. Do you know what I mean? Like that person with all this stuff going on. Do you know what I mean? Like that guy, he must have some sort of psychological issues. Everywhere he goes, it's like Epstein didn't kill himself. Like everybody knows somebody killed Epstein. Imagine being the person that actually did it.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's
freaky,
got enough
mate.
money and he's got no soul, is he? Obviously, so
There you go.
Probably couldn't care less. In another
True.
way, Epstein probably deserved to be.
Well, it sounds like it. If he's
suicided
orchestrating all these
anyway.
sorts of human trafficking parties and stuff, he sounds like an absolute tool. Yeah.
No, I imagine the person that killed Epstein is like some kind of Han Solo, isn't it? It's just like, just take the money, do the job. You know what I mean?
Purveyor of good, basically. Do you know what I mean? Like he's not up for killing any old person, but if somebody's a bit of a scummer, guess what? He'll freaking snap their neck like a twig. That's basically what's going on there.
Exactly that.
Anyway, that's the melter of the moment. We're coming up to an hour on the show, so we'll just we'll wrap it up very, very soon. But we'll get on to the next bit. And here's your theme tune, Henry Hotspur. There you go. Over to you, my friend.
Okay, so
Close
we're talking
encounters of the third kind.
Close encounters of the third kind. Okay, so this week I want to talk to you about a certain individual that has no soul because they are not human. It's someone called Sophia, which is a robot. Have you seen or heard from this robot before, Pig? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't think I have, my friend. What is this?
Well, I was actually introduced to this very recently, and I know that she, if we could call it a she, has been on the scene for a couple of years now. But I saw this on Good Morning Britain, which is a big kind of morning British show, obviously.
I can't stand it.
You can't stand it. Well, I can't
just
stand it.
Just because that Piers Morgan twat's on it, mate.
Piers Morgan. Do you know what, actually? Piers Morgan, I don't like him. He's an Arsenal fan, but I don't completely dislike the guy, actually. I think he's got good points to make.
Oh, no.
Anyway, that's
he's right down there with Prince Andrew for me, mate.
That's a separate argument, okay? But, please, after the show, if you're not aware of this, and a lot of you, I think, will be, is, YouTube Sophia AI or robot. And basically, you've got a robot now that is able to have a conversation with a human being. Yes, it's kind of programmed. Yes, it's not, the be-all. It's not quite at the stage where it's a completely independent thinking entity. But what's scary about it is it looks so human. Okay, it looks so human. It's almost to the stage where, if you watch
Let's have a look at this.
Programs like Westworld, okay, get a picture up. You watch programs like Westworld and you think, well, that's just science fiction. We're not at that stage where robots can actually deceive
Talking about
you.
this one, mate.
Yeah, right there. Okay,
mate, that doesn't look. It looks like a freaking. What's it
to
wearing
me.
on its head? It's got a swimming cap on its head, mate.
No, but
it looks
put a
like
wig-
Patrick Stewart
okay.
wearing a swimming cap. Are you telling
Put
me
a
that's
wig-
realistic?
Put a wig on it. Okay. Actually,
Okay.
watch and listen to.
It's got all the animatronics in the face and everything, yeah.
Watch and listen to this robot online, okay? And you're actually at the stage where, okay, it's not quite there yet. I understand that. But we're almost at the stage where you give it 20 years and you could be looking at robots walking around that if you don't actually interact with them for any serious period of time, you would not be able to tell the difference between a real human being
mate.
and a robot. I'm talking a few years down, but this is the cusp. We're actually there at the fence that we're jumping over now, where robotics are at the stage where it's believable. Okay, Okay, let's take this a bit further. Have you ever watched it's not the best film in the world, but it's a Bruce Willis film. It's called Surrogates. Have you seen that movie?
No, I haven't. No.
You have not. Okay. Well, basically, the idea, the plot behind that is people that that maybe have a disability, maybe for whatever reason don't want to actually go out and live their life like we all do. And they get a surrogate, which is a robot which looks like them, or potentially doesn't look like them, but in the film they look like them.
Right.
That does their job, that does everything, and you are basically plugged into this robot, and they live your life for you.
Okay.
And I'm putting things together here in my own mind. I'm watching this robot Sophia, and I'm thinking, okay, it's not quite there yet, but it's almost there. We are not so far away, my friend, from a world where you could be looking at surrogates. You could be looking at, do you know what? You as the pig, it's like, do you know what? I can't be bothered anymore to show my face. I'd rather a slimmer, more handsome pig that's actually sat there doing the Pig and the Hen show or doing my YouTube channel. Whereas your actual body is just, controlling this thing. And at the same time, you could just lie in bed or whatever, or lie in your pod and do whatever the hell you want to do. We're not far away from that. There's so many angles where this new robotics is scary. It's scary for mankind. I'll let you respond, and I could go on for a long time about this.
Fair play, mate. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting topic. I think you are right. Eventually, it's going to get to the level where it's almost indistinguishable from actual humans, I think. I mean, I don't know if you saw recently, you should definitely watch it if you haven't seen it. There was a company in America who they basically inputted all of the conversations that Joe Rogan has had on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast into a machine, and what they were able to do is completely reconstruct his voice and just tell it what to say. But because it had so much data to go from, and it's obviously very intelligent. Are you having a piss, Hen?
Hey, it's raining.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so he had so much data to choose from. They're able to actually get Joe Rogan saying whatever they want to say, and it sounds just like he's having a free-flowing conversation. It doesn't sound like one of these Microsoft sound things where it's all, or one of these Stephen Hawking voice box things. No, it sounds like Joe Rogan having a chat. It's quite hard to distinguish it. So that technology is not far away at all. And have you ever seen that film Ex Machina?
Ex Machina?
Or Ex Machina, yeah. But I think it's pronounced Ex Machina.
I can't really remember.
Well, that's basically about AI and robots, and but if nobody's actually seen that film, it's actually a bit of a sleeper. It's a good film, that one. So yeah, check it out, Ex Machina. That's about artificial intelligence and robots and realism and eventually fitting into society and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, I think you're quite spot on there, mate. It's a good topic, and I think that you're right. Eventually, that will be the case.
Well,
I'll check that out, though.
About this.
Sophia,
I've spoken about this before. End of the day, we if you believe in the conspiracies of globalization and in the fact that you've got elites out there that want to separate, the regular human being class from the elite class. They want to push the robotic agenda on us so that we're actually integrated with robots. They've done this through Hollywood. They're doing it through political agendas that we've covered before. Okay, the reason I bring up the surrogacy, and for once, actually, this encounter of the third kind is actually from my own point of view and my own thinking, rather than just basically taking it from something that I've read and appreciated. I've kind of come to this myself, that you've got robotics now to the stage where you could actually be looking at people using robotics to replace themselves. You look at the mobile phone. The mobile phone is already, in the last 20 years, okay, we've taken 20 years from, in the late 90s, people are starting to use the mobiles. In the mid 2000s, suddenly it's the new thing. And now the mobile phone is the extension of the human being, undeniably, okay, in the modern world. What I'm looking at now is robotics are at that stage where you could be looking at another 20 years where, do you know what? 20 years time, rather than just having a phone, You've actually got your own robot that lives your life for you if you want it to. And it could
Fair
be
play.
such an easy way out for people that have low self-confidence, have a disability, would rather present themselves as a more attractive, person and actually have a robot that does that for them. That could easily happen. And do you know what happens as soon as we get to that stage where everybody's got, I'm going to call it a surrogate. That's the right word for it, because we see that in a movie. An interesting concept, not the best movie in the world, but an interesting Bruce Willis movie there, where you've got someone that's representing you. But the fact is, all these things are wired straight into the system, aren't they? Of course they are. And, when it comes to deep state, when it comes to the government or whatever it is, you are not in control anymore. You are just a fat, unhealthy shell of a person living wherever you do in your pod, relying on technology to that extent where you're not in control. You think you're in control. You think you're having a great life, but that is when the
It's like the movie WALL-E. Yeah,
have got
You seen WALL-E?
Yeah, exactly like that. Exactly like that. Spot on. So
You
there's
just
been
plugged
so
into-
many movies made that have already highlighted on the way that of what we're headed to. And for sure this is scary. Okay, so you've got the Skynet idea of Terminator. You look at this Sophia, and you look at her, and she knows how to draw. She knows how to talk for herself.
That's definitely how they'll produce it as well. It will all be military, mate, for warfare.
Well,
that's where the major progressions will take place in Robotronics. All that stuff, I think, is for killing people. So that's messed up.
And I
think the Terminator, we're not far away from that.
These creators of these robots say no, it's not about that. They're only going to learn the good things about human beings. No, they're not. No, they're not just going to learn the good things. If you program them to actually take in what humans are about.
What about Asimov's first law, though? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know what that is.
Well, Asimov was that Robotronic or whatever, the Roboteer. I don't know what but anyway, the first law of a robot, or this is what it should be. Like you say, you can program it to do whatever you want, but yeah, it's like you cannot harm human beings. I think that's Asimov's first law. Maybe I'm totally wrong here, and it's actually called something else. But yeah. No, fair enough, Henry. Interesting topic. It's only a matter of time before the hordes of zombies, of basically robot clones of ourselves, are coming over the hill and attacking us, my friend.
Well,
do you know what I mean? That would be the worst thing ever if you actually got killed by a robot version of yourself.
Of course.
That would suck.
I know, exactly. Let me just wrap it up, because you've got A and B. So A is you've just got robots, and then they start thinking for themselves and do what they want to. But the people with the real money, or the people that are in charge of them, are kind of either controlling them or allowing them to...
Yeah, what if you get your robot hacked? Do you know what I mean?
To, dehumanize the world. Plan B is everybody just accepts the facts that robots are actually going to replace humans themselves, as in surrogates, and then the same thing happens again. Okay? So A or B is absolute bullshit. And I can't even see a C right now. That is the scary thing.
Well, we're not far away from symbiosis, are we? Where we're actually living as robots ourselves in a way.
Cyborgs, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, we're not that far away from that, because, lots of things, knee replacements, bloody hearts, pacemakers, all these things. Some of it to a degree is already there. The stuff that's being put in the human body. So yeah, we'll be like the $1 Million Man soon, mate. Steve Austin. It's a bit of an old school reference.
There we go. But yeah, you need to check out this Sophia. You do.
I'll check it out. Anyway, we better wrap it up soon.
Scary stuff.
We're about on an hour and 10 minutes. But yeah, great topic. Let us know what you guys think about that one. AI. There will be a longer show next week, back to normal and stuff. So just want to say thanks to everybody for all the support over these last couple of weeks, and the regularly scheduled viewing will be back to normal next week. Just one thing actually to end on, Hen, with the close encounters of the third kind. What about mainstream media ripping off us little YouTubers for news stories, eh? What do you think about that one, Hen? I think that sort of stuff happens. I know for a fact that Kenny Florian, an MMA fighter actually back in for the UFC was done for plagiarism, where he actually verbatim, word for word, stole like an online blogger's description of a fight, a tactical breakdown of a fight, and used it word for word, and passed it off as his own. So I think it does happen. And you sent me a couple of things the other day, Henry. Was it Max Rushton from TalkSport? Totally been watching the Pig and the Hen show, hasn't he? He's got on his computer afterwards, typed up this little article based on what you were talking about, Henry, about Amazon potentially being the puppet masters or one day owning Tottenham Hotspurs. And you were talking about that.
Yeah.
I personally think that these big bods over at TalkSport or whatever have been tuning in and they have been listening to what we've had to say and using it as a resource, mate. And what I want to say to those guys is give us a bloody job.
Yeah, well, there we go. But I mean, where else has this come from? Because I looked at this article. It was certainly after the Pig and the Hen premiere of last week was broadcast. And suddenly you've got Max Rushton coming out with this article that is seriously talking about Bezos being the real, puppet master of Tottenham Hotspur right now. And, to be honest, in fairness to that article, it took it to the next level. We were talking about it as a joke at the time. We just thought, we had a laugh about it. I think we kind of just, we come about it during the show rather than that being like a preemptive thing that we wanted to speak about. We kind of just naturally started to put the pieces together and had a joke about it. And suddenly you're seeing an article where it's like, no, seriously, Poch has been sacked for dramatical reasons. Jose, the biggest manager ever, has been brought in. And what a brilliant drama that creates. And bottom line, Amazon are doing this big documentary right now at Tottenham Hotspur, and Amazon being the giant that they are, it's like, are they pulling the strings? And I mean, that's all it says. It just asked the question the same as we did, but it took it to a more serious, darker level. And fair play to them. But is that plagiarism? I don't know. But it's interesting.
All I'm saying is I think it's a conspiracy. Point. I think these guys are getting some of their stories from us little guys, mate, and not giving us any credit. Now, I'm only joking around, to be fair. Like, obviously, lots of people came to that possible conclusion anyway, but we were just having a bit of a joke. There we go. Anyway, it does happen, though. Definitely happens. So we'll leave it there, but I just want to say once again, thanks to everybody that's tuned in this week. And Henry, obviously, we are premiering this video this week. It's not live. We're premiering it. Are you able to stay in the chat and have a bit of banter with us, or do you have to get off the bed, mate?
Well, no. I mean, I'll go to bed, and then I might get involved in the chat.
Okay, so it'll probably take us like half an hour to get this uploaded and everything. So
I just quickly wanted to say, I mean, I love YouTube. I love all this stuff, but at the same time, you really have to look at what's going on out there, because it's got to the stage where it's not just YouTube, but just that, these platforms in general. There's certain material out there that you see likes and you see views. You see likes and you see less views. I mean, this is what I've been hearing in the pipeline. This has been happening recently, where there's certain videos that are put out and the likes go up, but the views are less than the likes, and that doesn't make sense. That does not make sense. It's kind of, there is shit going on out there where things are being put down, and there's certainly stuff that I'm into politically, and I've never really wanted to get into it on the show, and I won't. But there's stuff that I follow, as a patriot. I won't say no more, and there's stuff going on. There's stuff going on in the mainstream media, on social media. It's just a continuation of Encounters of the Third Kind, but it's plain for everyone to see. And it's scary. It's scary times, lads and lasses. It is.
That's it. Enjoy your freedoms while you can, guys. If you can even call it that, as things are. I've got a little Google Home Mini in my house, mate. It's always listening. It's always listening. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Anyway, guys, right, let's wrap this one up, Hannah. Otherwise, it's going to take an age to upload. But thank you to all of you guys. That's right, you, for tuning in this week to the Pig and the Hen show. Thanks for all the support. Do us a favour, if you are tuned into this, please smash a cheeky little like on it. And please get your thoughts and opinions in the comments section, not only during the premiere, although this is at the end of it, so you'd have already done that anyway, but in the not live comments afterwards as well. That would be fantastic. So there we are. We're going to wrap it up this week. Short and sweet, an hour and 15 minutes. There we are. It's the Pig and the Hen show. We've discussed some great topics today. Let me know what you guys think about Mourinho at Spurs and Pochettino and Solskjaer and United and all that good stuff. And we will see you very, very soon for next week's edition of the Pig and the Hen show, which should be live again and should be longer and should have the call-ins. Sorry to disappoint anybody that wanted to call into the show today. I know there's a bunch of you that do want to do that. We love hearing from you, but yeah, just not feasible to do it today.
I've got one more thing to say. Okay, so I think me and the Pig have agreed that we're going to introduce a new segment to the show. We both felt that Melter at the moment's great. We love it, and that will continue. But it's a little bit negative. It's like every single show. It's like, yeah, let's pick out something that's bad that's happening in the world. You know, we need to have the good thing that's happening as well. And we're going to call it. I mean, you know, this might change, but I think nutbag of note. Okay, it's going to be the nutbag of note. And just to let you know, my nutbag of note for this week is Jose Mourinho.
I thought it might be, my friend. I thought it might be. Fair play to you.
If you got a nutbag of note?
I mean, I didn't have a nutbag of note, mate, but if I'm just on the spot, got to choose a nutbag of note, I'm going for Brandon Williams, mate. Did you see that goal he scored the other day? Did you see that goal he scored? 19 years of age, get United back into the game, 2-0 down. Did you see that goal? Oh, it was pure. It was so freaking pure.
It was a good goal. It was a good goal.
And this guy is just, he's something special. 19. I'm just loving Brandon Williams, mate. Do you know what I mean?
There you go. You got a poster of him up on your bedroom wall.
No, but I've set a photo of him as my wallpaper on my phone. No, I haven't really. Look, anyway, we'll leave it there. Thanks to all of you legends for tuning in. Thank you to you, Henry, for stopping by and giving me your time and being so committed to this show. We had a great show last week. Thanks to all the new viewers and everything we had and all the great comments on the show. I know it's a big news topic, but nice to know there's a bunch of you new people tuning in as well. So thanks very much for getting involved and supporting the show and the channel as you do. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. I'll see you next week with Henry, and I'll also see you tomorrow for the Astana game in the Europa League. So
enjoy that. Enjoy that.
Yeah, we will enjoy that one.
Don't bother.
I will enjoy it actually, mate, because we're playing the kids.
Only tune in because it's the Pig, isn't it? But the actual game's going to be dog turd.
Oh, fair play. Probably, mate. Over in Kazakhstan, you know it's going to be a 0-0 affair. Anyway, we'll leave it there. But Henry, thank you once again. You're a freaking legend. I'll see you next week, and I'll see all of you guys next week too. You've been watching the Pig and the Hen show. I've been the Pig.
I've been the Hen. Bug, bug.
And you've been watching the Pig and the Hen. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and take it easy.
If you've been burning for a call-in, save it for next week. Make sure it's good.
See you next week, lads and lasses. Mourinho's a melter.
Nutbag of note.
Loser fall. Put your hand up if you hate Jose.
Bitter.
And the Hen. Pig and the Hen show.
See you later, guys. Have a bloody good one.
Pig and the Hen show. Pig and the Hen show. Pig and the Hen show.